Today I'm going to be doing a really fun one, and this is my easy dark chocolate frosting recipe. So let's get on with the ingredients. We're going to need 5 cups of powdered sugar, but I'm going to use only 4 cups of powdered sugar at the beginning to show you how thin the recipe is, and then we're going to adjust it as we go. A half a cup of salted butter, a half a cup of milk, 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and our last ingredient, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. For my first step, I've got a pot with some simmering water. We're gonna get a large glass bowl on top, and basically what we've made here is a double boiler. At this point, we'll add in all of our butter. I'm just gonna let this melt down a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back. So our butter is almost melted. If you wanted to go a little faster, you could have cut the butter up into cubes before you added it, but that's great, just like that. To that, I'm going to add in my milk. I'm just going to increase this a little bit. I want to start getting some heat into our mixture. Just going to grab a whisk. And then our cocoa powder. Just get all of that in there. I'm going to grab the back of a spoon and just push all of that through. Perfect. Grab my whisk again. And at this point, I just want to let this sit here for about 5 minutes. I want to cook that cocoa powder a little bit. So I'm just going to stir it. So I'm going to let it heat up. Just like that. I'm going to let that go for about 5 minutes and then I'll come back. So this is about 5 minutes later, and you can see that our mixture is all really nicely come together, and it's actually thicker, and that's what I want. When it starts getting a little bit thicker, I know that it's properly cooked. That cocoa powder is cooked down, so I know we're ready to go with our next step. So that's good. So we're going to get this off. We get our water, turn that off, and on to our next step. So this is about a minute later. I just cleaned up, and we're ready to go with our next step. And I just wanted to show you that this is indeed thicker. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. You really do want to leave it on your double boiler just so that it thickens a little bit, so about 5 minutes. And that's perfect, and now I'm going to switch over to an electric mixer for the last steps. I've got my little bit of vanilla, and pour that in. And I just want to mix that around before we start adding in our powdered sugar. That's good. Just going to grab a sieve, then we're going to get all of our powdered sugar right into there. Just give it a shake. And this recipe is very forgiving. If you find that you've made your ingredients, you've mixed them, and the frosting is a little bit on the wet side, you can add a little bit more powdered sugar. If it's a little bit too dry, you can add a little bit more milk. So really, really simple. This is a no-fail recipe, and one taste of this and you will be in love. And that's perfect. Grab our mixer, speed number 1. You do not want a dust cloud, so always speed number 1 when you're starting out. And the electric mixer just makes this really, really easy. You can see how nice this frosting is already becoming. So a little bit at a time, I'm just going to start incorporating all of that sugar. Now it's all nicely incorporated. I'm going to increase the speed of my mixer just to incorporate some air. Now that we've added air into it, we can see the true consistency, and you can see it's a little bit on the thin side. So we're going to start adding in a little bit of our last cup of powdered sugar. So I'm going to start off with a 1/4 cup. You're going to see how quickly this recipe changes just with the addition of a little bit of powdered sugar. That's why I always like to start on the more liquid side of the frosting so that I can get it exactly where I want. If you add too much powdered sugar to begin with, then you start really changing that recipe because now you've got to start adding in more milk. Grab our mixer. Start slowly incorporating this. And now you can see that it's getting really thick. So let's go again. And we'll go with our second quarter, so that means a total of half a cup extra. Now if I were doing this off camera, I would just go with the amount that I'm using, but I just want to show you how a little bit changes this recipe. Grab our mixer again. So there we have it with 4.5 cups, so that's an extra half cup. And you can see that it's much, much thicker. So now that I've shown you what it looks like with that 4.5 cups, I'm just going to take the rest, which is the extra little bit, and I'm just going to put that in. Just get all of that in there. So that is a total now of 5 cups. We'll grab our mixer one last time. And you can already see that this is very, very thick now. I mean, it really depends what kind of frosting you want. If you want it on the thinner side, you might only want to do 4 cups. If you want it much thicker, then you'll go with 5. So you can hear my mixer is working much harder, and that is because the frosting is very, very thick now. Just grab our spoon, and I'll show you how thick this is. And this here crusts very quickly. Within about 2 or 3 minutes, a crust will form on this. So you have to use it very quickly. And if you're going to store this in the fridge, you want to take a piece of plastic wrap. I would put it down right on top of the frosting, and then another piece of plastic wrap over the top of your bowl. But you can see now this is very, very thick. And if you chill this, this is perfect for piping. It all really depends on how you want to use this frosting. If you want it thinner, go with 4. You can do 4 1/4, 4 1/2. You can play with it, but this recipe is very forgiving and you can really, really play with the ingredient ratios. I guess I'll zoom in just for the last part of our video. So there we are, a little closer up. I always like to show you closer up so you can see a little bit better. One little bite of this on a spoon and you will fall in love with this frosting. It is that good. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you wish. I really do appreciate that. That's it, and I'll see you next time. Oh, it smells really good. Oh, that is good. And please subscribe to my BakeLikeAPro YouTube channel and also click that notification bell to be alerted every time I upload a brand new video.